but are we going to spend that much anyway?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Please come to order. We do have proof of posting in accordance with Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code as amended known as the Texas Open Meeting Act. Any members of the public who wish to speak shall each have 5 minutes to address the court. Anyone? Yes.
I won't take 5 minutes, and thank y'all for giving us this opportunity to express our concerns to the community. And thank you for your service to the community also. My questions today relate back to meetings that happened a few months ago when the jail was depopulated. And I know at the time the court said that they were going to reconsider it in the budget and possibly, provide for some additional pay, for the jailers and getting the people that come in to take care of the jail. And as I recall, it was estimated that the jail might be repopulated sometime around the middle of July, and here we are in the middle of August, and I've not seen or heard anything that would, bring us up to speed on where we are on that project. I know y'all are privy to information that we don't have, so if I say something, I don't intend to offend anybody, and I don't intend to embarrass myself, so I hope that I accomplish both those goals today. So please, I will try to be on point for my comments. I did notice in looking at the budget, and I just looked at the detail a little bit. It's pretty complicated, I recognize that. Then I also looked on the salaries, and I noticed that you have provided some increase, I believe, in the beginning jailers. Is that correct? And assuming on a 2,080-hour work week, 40 hours a week times 52, 40 hours a week times 52 weeks, 2,080 hours, it looks like it computes just on the pure salary about almost $13 an hour. And I noticed recently there was a comments, an article over in Limestone County by their county judge saying that the workers at the Limestone County jail, they can make about $18 an hour, which, that's a significant difference, So, and then as I looked through the budget, on the individual people listed, there are still a number of positions that are open under the sheriff's department. You have a lot of positions that are open. So I was kind of wondering about what the plan is to get those fulfilled, and then is that increase that y'all proposing, is it sufficient to attract, competent and qualified people? Recently I heard Waco News that McLennan County is taking over the private jail facility over there, and they're looking for 100 to 120 jailers. So the competition is going to be pretty tough, for us to fulfill the local positions. Then also, it's been a few weeks since when the rain was going on, that there was an article in the paper about a leak in the roof of the jail over here, and that was going to complicate, repopulating the jail. Well, as I look through the budget, and I recognize that it's complicated, so you got some allocation here, you may have some more money over here related to repairs, but all I saw under jail repairs was $15,000. Now again, there may be more money on another line item, but that doesn't sound like much money, and it may be a small repair, it may be a big repair, I don't know the extent of it. But my concern is, you know, are we preparing to repopulate the jail and for the safety and security of our communities? You know, the cities are, it's cost and trouble to them to have to transport patients or prisoners. So anyway, I just wanted to bring those items to your attention. I understand you may not can respond, but maybe in the rest of the meeting, those items will be addressed. And again, thank you for your service. Y'all have a tough job, but you also have a responsibility to take care of the county and our population. Thank you for hearing.
There is another spot where there is money budgeted for the building repair for the jail. Let's see, we'll put the finger on it right now. The amount that is in that, the jail section is only for minor repairs within the jail. That's not for the roof itself, so there is another spot, like I said.
Non-departmental, there's grant 670.
670?
Well, did the insurance people look at the jail?
They did.
They did, that's correct, and we've already received $31,000.
And y'all tell the fixes, yes, once the people come with it?
Yes,
The
sir.
adjuster. But now, once it's completed, then we'll get another 7,000 or something. What was that?
12,000.
How much?
12,000.
12,000. You know, they depreciate it and they pay you the depreciated amount. If you replace it, then you get the additional, so that'll be about 40,000. And then we have 670.
965, 966, something like that.
Or have we gone out for bid for somebody to fix it?
Been trying. I'm not sure. Have we had any bids come in?
We
All the
have
people that looked at it?
We've got Larson.
Larson or Parsons?
Larson.
So, 3 people, and that's the one bid
I
we
mean,
got.
it's never come up in court for us to go out for bids. We've called, or
Yes.
Sheriff Judd.
Wait, you mean the judge is trying to get people here?
Judge Grant.
Okay, it's
640.
actually, it's in courthouse,
Ah, yeah.
640. And there's 100,000 budgeted for that. But then we do have the amount that's coming from insurance that's in addition to that. And the issue right now is we're trying to get somebody to build a support for the air conditioning units, and once we get that done, then they can put the roof on. So we're kind of in a holding spot right now, waiting on that. We may be looking for some additional contractors to see if they can help us with that.
Thank you.
Anyone else who would like to speak this morning? If not, then we will go to item number 1, which is to discuss the new election laws of early voting locations and consider consolidating polling locations for November the 5th election.
We have a new House bill that takes effect September the 1st, and it's going to be tough on the county, but any temporary polling location is required to be open the same days as your main voting location, at least 8 hours a day. That means our Fairfield location is open for 2 solid weeks. Any other early voting location must be open the 2 solid weeks, at least 8 hours a day. So we need to make some decisions on this election as to what we're going to open, but that affects from here forward.
So the question we used to have a couple of days, have to go 2 weeks.
Yes, sir. The ones that we had open only just 1 day, must, if you open any day, must be 2 solid weeks, at least 8 hours per day.
Wow.
That's a new House bill that took effect, House Bill 1888.
1888?
Yes, ma'am. I did talk to an attorney at the Secretary of State's office this morning just to reassure me that we are using temporary voting locations, and I described everything. He said, yes, that is exactly correct. Any temporary voting location is considered temporary. That is any location other than your Fairfield location. So Every location we have, other than the Fairfield, is considered a temporary location. I wanted to make sure we were fitting that.
And by statute, we have to have the one in Fairfield open 2 weeks.
Yes,
And it
ma'am.
has to be in Fairfield.
We can, yes, normally, I'm not gonna say normally, some people have them open in their county clerks or their EA's offices. We have no good access for that to happen, so ours is being down at the other locations. We do have an issue too that the city is using the conference center and has let me know that we will not be able to use that for our early voting or election days, so they have offered the Green Barn, so we need to make that decision if y'all would like to go ahead and move it to the Green Barn also. At the last constitutional amendment, we had 2 early voting locations, which was your Fairfield for 2 weeks and 10 for 1 week. My suggestion would be make the choice to have Fairfield open for the 2 solid weeks, and if you prefer 10, the 2 solid weeks also. If you choose that, we only had 452 voters in the last constitutional amendment, which is very, very low. On election day, we had the Fairfield Conference Center, the First Baptist Church in Tig, Downey, Dogan. We had Southern Oaks and we had the Wortham open. Those are the only election day places we had open. So those are just some suggestions that we need to, I've got the coding and everything to get turned in. We've already turned in our first part of elections. We're preparing and getting geared up, so we need some decisions today.
Now, we don't have to decide about these today, do we?
Yes, ma'am.
We do, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know that we can afford to have all of those alternate locations open for 2 weeks each.
Yes, ma'am.
So we're gonna have to make some hard decisions there.
When you,
We had done that to accommodate people throughout the county, but this is gonna make
and to make it known, it's a House bill, it's not the Fairfield's or Freestone County's choice. We are gonna just do what we have to do to follow the law, and we've accommodated in the past the best we could, and we're gonna have to do the best we can forward.
This ruling came from the,
Legislation just met, and it's the House Bill 1888. There's been several laws that have affected the elections, but it's behind the scenes that one there is the one that's the most hindering for us.
we'll have another meeting next week, and we wait until then to decide.
We have coding to turn in, we have, I believe it is, we had stuff to turn in yesterday, deadlines, and in order for them to do their stuff, we've got to turn in all this location for all the locations and all to get it coded. We have time schedules, is what's a crunch. It's a crunch. You have to, meet all these different locations for different poll books, you have the electronics, you have the
You know a
PEDs.
little earlier, so we have more time to think about it.
We could have found out about it last week. You didn't know.
I think I sent a message to the judge's office about it. Just, yeah, so I just verbally sent a message about it.
Linda, I know that Navarro County only does early voting at one spot. You
Yes.
know how many counties around us only does that at one spot? or-
No, I don't. I do not.
Well, I guess our option is, we're gonna have Fairfield open for 2 weeks, and we're gonna have any other location open for 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
So
This is constitutional, this is a constitutional.
so we can't have any other early voting anywhere except in Fairfield.
That's what I'm understanding. Unless we decide to open another place, but it'll have to be for 2 weeks in that place.
I'm telling you, that is not a very good, I don't know who made that ruling, but that is not good for our county.
It's not good for any
The
county.
number one thing that people do is go vote.
That's right.
And we're taking that away, making them drive 40 or 50 miles to go vote. That is not, in my opinion, a very good ruling, but I'm not up there where it makes those decisions. What would happen if we decided to do it another way, like we did do?
I'm gonna follow the law to my best ability.
That's fine.
I can't
That's fine.
purposely break the law.
didn't ask you to break the law, I said, what we doing there?
There are numerous things that come before us that are not, we don't consider as being,
Do you remember how
a
many,
realistic way to do it.
do you remember how many times our phone rang when we closed down one of those voting boxes? I just want to make sure that this is not something that we did.
Well, it's not.
I know, I'm just saying, it's got to be somewhere.
There are a lot of laws that I don't think we all have to follow, but there we are. There we are.
And so all those other big towns are gonna be, they're gonna have to have everyone open for 2 weeks.
Yes, sir.
But in the big towns, they probably already have several locations open for 2 weeks. But they have a lot more money than we do, so that makes a difference.
It's gonna be a hindrance, it is.
It is.
It's gonna be a hardship, it's gonna be a hardship for a lot of folks too.
Yes, sir.
Now, since this election, the only thing that will be on this election is constitutional amendments, is that correct?
That's correct.
Anything else on it?
No, ma'am, 10 constitutional amendments.
Just constitutional amendments?
Yes, ma'am.
So really, if we're gonna have, make a change, this is a good time because we don't have that much time for these usually. And that will give us an opportunity to express our displeasure with our
State rules.
people in this Austin.
Will we have enough election workers to do 2 places?
It's gonna be, probably for the early voting, I don't believe there's gonna be an issue. Normally, we have well, it's the judges, the election judge that gets the workers. And they normally have not expressed problems with the early voting locations for Fairfield and Tig.
But that was for,
Yes, Tig was just a week. Fairfield has always been 2 weeks.
now does, refresh my memory, does the party pay for,
Primary
The primary.
only. The party chair pays for day of.
now on the primary, early voting locations? That applies also?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge, as an election judge, having a little bit of experience working with these things, this year shouldn't be a big issue to only have one location because hardly anybody votes in those amendment elections. They should, but they don't. Next year, 2020, big election year, I think you need to maybe revisit do something
Sure,
today to
we
it
will.
this
This
year
will
and then
give us a
revisit
little-
next year
give us a
because it
little
will be
time.
a different story.
Think about that, because we're only deciding for this election. All right. It's another one of those things that we really don't have much option on. So, all things considered, do I have a motion?
Make a motion Fairfield,
2
2
weeks.
weeks.
You know what, location?
Well, we kind of need to know about the money for a judge and the workers if we open a second
You have to
location.
have 3 for each party, is that correct?
This is not a party affiliated, it's a constitutional amendment, so it's not considered where we have Democratic because of,
We got to have 3 though? That's 3.
but on the early voting locations, they have more than 3 because it takes it to run those.
This election, constitutional?
And we usually have overtime also, so when something factors in, because when they get overtime, they get overtime.
You still have the same amount of paperwork and everything you're doing at the locations.
Have a motion?
What is the money?
It's 3 workers, 4 workers. How many do you think?
I would have to contact the judge and see what she thinks she needs, is only way I know how to do that, or go back and look how many is there in the past. I can do that.
All those new machines that were supposed to cut down on some of the workers. I'll go
Some of the
whatever
work,
it
some of
was.
the work make it a little easier.
But it's a whole lot better than just like a driver's license. They don't have to go look them up.
What they get an hour?
Sir,
How much an hour, Paul?
$12 an hour.
Well,
It's probably gonna cost you out. $12,000. For 2 weeks.
for a second play, or a couple, for a second play?
Second.
Very
It's
good.
$12 an hour if you're 5 months, it's $60 an hour. That's $40 a day. 10 days. 2 weeks, 10 days.
Make a motion, Fairfield on.
So about $5,000 or $6,000.
How many people are going there? I mean, so,
I'm just estimating 5. She said more than 3. I don't know.
Here's an estimation.
But it went from 10 to 5.
This will be the slow. And it is estimate.
3.
That's estimate. Yes, ma'am.
It's 3, and that's 36,000.
Eight hours times the number of students.
That'd be about 3,000.
I mean, for this,
That's just an estimation.
3,000 for 2 weeks.
I mean, it went from 10 to 3.
If we have 2 in Fairfield, how much would that be? 6?
Well, we're gonna have to do that. I think we have to do that.
About 2 for 2 weeks.
We can do
Three.
it.
I'm saying on motion, Fairfield, too.
Hey, Craig, that's your that's
Problem just have it in T, ain't no problem having one.
You have to have it at your, early voting location, your main location. Fairfield is your main location. To be located where your office is.
That's what I was asking before. There's a reason we have to have it.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't understand this question. Yes, Fairfield is the main location. That's our answer on that for sure.
And that can vote either place, Fairfield or T, if we do that.
Yes, sir.
Now, what motion you got out now?
Fairfield, T.
Second.
All in favor, aye. Motion carried. Item number 2, consider moving Fairfield early voting from Conference Center to the Green Barn.
Judge, we have early vote, day of. We have to do it day of also for locations. Early voting and day of, everybody.
Item number 1 was just
November 5th.
consider polling locations for November 5th. Now, number 2 is
Okay, polling locations for early voting and day of. So we need to do which polling locations to open for day of.
The 2 weeks prior.
We've already done early voting, now we need on election day, which places will we have open? And that's when last time we had Fairfield Conference Center, First Baptist Church, Dogan Cafeteria, St. Elmo, and Wortham was opened only on election day.
We have Montreal Church.
We did not have that open for the constitutional amendment.
Do we have the lake, Richardson Chambers Creek Lake?
Southern Oaks was.
Okay, Southern Oaks,
Didn't have one in Freestone.
Wortham,
Wortham, Southern Oaks,
Kirby,
no sir,
Cotton Gin,
no sir.
I'm losing ground.
Dogan,
Streetman,
no sir.
consider consolidating is what the motion is.
So on election day, at the Fairfield Conference Center Fairfield number 1 and Liberty number 12 voted there. First Baptist Church in Tig, you had Donnie number 3, Tig number 5, and Freestone number 10. Dogan Cafeteria, you had Fairfield number 2, Butler number 11, Jude 13, and Langley 14. Southern Oaks, you had only Southern Oaks voting there. The Wortham Community Center was Cotton Gin number 4, Kirby number 6, Wortham number 7, Tig number 9, and Streetman number 15 voted there on election day.
Do you want something else open on that day?
On the regular day vote? Yeah, I want them all open. Southern Oaks, Wortham, Garvin, Cotton Gin, and Street.
One thing you can't do is open more locations in one voting precinct commissioner than you can another. So if you open several in yours, you have to open the others also. That is one of the election laws, that you can't open constitutional stuff.
I have more voting boxes in my precinct than they do, right?
Yes, sir, you do.
Why is that?
Because of the census of the
Census?
population.
Census, every precinct's supposed to be the same, don't they?
That's correct. So yours are just spread out to where theirs are just a little bit more combined together.
I don't want to be ugly, but I want my people to be able to go vote where they've been voting at. If y'all want to do that, that's fine.
Have we ever had them open in all of them?
We have, the reason they consolidate,
Because it's constitutional.
because it's constitutional and voting
Yeah.
and vote.
452 total voted that election. That's early and day of.
Well,
I think that's 3.82%.
Is there some rule that I can't keep, we can't keep those open in my precinct? Is there a law that says I can't?
The law states that if you have so many open in one commissioner precinct, you have to have others open that many too. That,
I don't have to do, so both of mine would have to be on
yes, sir.
one and 12.
Yes, sir.
What is your
Two of mine
favorite?
live in Tig,
So,
and two of my voting boxes live in Tig.
see, I have one voting box in Tig too.
Yeah, you do.
But if he opens all of his, then all of yours will have to be open too, is what she's saying. And all of mine.
Again, speaking as an election judge on an amendment voting, I had the opportunity to vote or to work in Butler one year. It was an extremely long time for like 4 or 5 voters to show up. It's just very, very difficult for the judge. And there were 3 of us sitting there. We had a good time. We learned to know each other. But it's just really, it's a hardship on the workers to sit there and do nothing.
And if we have early voting, it's only 2 weeks, compared to 2 weeks in kids. And, you know, that gives people an opportunity to come at different times.
I'm just telling you what I think. I'm just telling you what I
Is that a
think.
motion?
I'm making a motion that we keep the ones in my precinct open, that were open last night.
So that would be,
Okay, the ones that were open last time at the constitutional amendment,
No,
Okay.
the ones that were at the voting thing. We'll do the constitutional amendments. You told us we had to do those in Fairfield Tig, right?
that's early voting.
that's a law from here now forward on early voting. It's not just the constitutional amendment.
But now that was only early voting. We were talking about the 2 weeks. Now we're talking about on election day for the constitutional election. Constitutional amendment election, on election day only.
My motion's still gonna be, that we do, that if they vote there for the constitutional limits. And those.
All
Yes,
election
ma'am.
places will be open.
Yep, you-
That's your motion. We have a motion.
Can it be open just for that one night?
Yes, sir.
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Motion carried. Item number 2, consider moving the Fairfield early voting from the conference center to the Green Barn.
Make that motion.
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Set early voting and election day locations. Well, up here, consider consolidating. I was confused.
We did number 2 first. We said the early voting day locations.
So
We did it
the
back.
last part of number 1 is the same thing as 2.
We did not consolidate, so we considered consolidating and we did not.
You said no on consolidation.
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Item number 3, consider recommendations from the CPS board, and I believe that it's not, they don't have their information complete on that. So we will not take any action on that. Item number 4, we're not taking any action. Item number 5, budget transfers and amendments. Have them in your packet.
We didn't have it on the different budget.
No, because this is a special meeting.
Make a motion to approve transfers.
Second.
All in favor? Motion carried. Item number 6 is to approve and pay the bills.
prorated part of it is?
Okay, so if someone is leaving the county and they don't have enough time on a timesheet, or we have to pay them out some of their time, vacation comp, then we prorate it on a prorated sheet. We figure it up by hour and have to pay them by hour on that. That's what that means. The doc means if they're still employed here, they didn't just have enough time to make the whole timesheet.
I'd like to explain one thing on the time thing here. Down there, you all know that my brother works for me, and I gave him 6 hours in meantime. Our work day is 8 hours, and we work 10-hour days, so whenever they get time off, they only get 8 hours. And so therefore, for my brother's funeral and for the funeral time, I gave him administrative time, and he got 6 hours. So he was off about 3 days, and he worked on Monday. So if anybody got any questions about that, go ahead and talk to him.
Yes, I make it motion.
All in favor, aye. Motion carried. Item number 8 is to discuss the salary rates. Bunch of sheets, right?
Is it in my book?
They were on the top of your book, I believe. You already got them?
I probably didn't give it to you. I'll look, let me look.
What color we gonna go with? Three, four,
Did you find it? Fine. Got that piece of two sheets in it. That's the.
They're just not solid.
They're in the books.
It's in the book, under your number, that's right. And that is item number 8. And then we have one, that may not be in the book, that the sheriff, well, she passed it out to you first thing. If you've got all of those sheets, actually, it's all right, let's go down and talk about the budget review, because it all ties in together. So hold your sheets. Sheriff, did you get a call from the hospital from the people?
No.
I did get a call this morning from Judge Tommy. He said that they are working on their contract that he sent to us for them holding our prisoners. And they want to make it $38 across the board. You know, we were doing the first 10 for $42. And they want to do it 38 across the board, but they want us to do all the transportation. So that's going to be
Well,
that's going to be a huge change in our budget that we're going to have.
yes, because if we have to start doing all the transportation, then we're gonna have to start looking at a transport vehicle, and I guarantee you I'm gonna have 2 more people. it'll be tough with just 2 more anyway. I needed 2 more before all that.
We might need to check some other counties about what they would do. You know, we had a deal with Anderson County one time. We had another county, and then we also had Falls County. So we've had some others since I've been here. Blackstone has not gotten all ours until this, in the last few years. So we probably need to take a look at some of those.
Well, I just talked to him just a little while ago, so I didn't know.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how many counties are gonna jump on board driving an hour to 2 hours to bring us inmates every day for court. That's not gonna happen.
If we get the jail open, we wouldn't have to worry about that. If we got the jail open, we wouldn't have to worry about transport.
We wouldn't have to worry about transporting so many.
So many,
Yeah.
would, yes. And that won't start till October the 1st, but,
That's what the contract is.
I believe it is.
You know, we normally do a new budget, or a new contract each budget. But that's, oof.
That's gonna be, we'll have to figure on that a little bit. They also, will only, use their employees for 8 hours if someone is in the hospital or wherever. After that, we have manpower.
Yeah, I don't think that's an issue. I think we've been handling that issue anyway.
Well, before it was $15 an hour, and they did it. Now, I know you helped them out sometimes.
Oh, yeah, there were several times we went and picked them up.
Anyway, so we'll have to, what I'm gonna request is that we have another meeting maybe Monday. We can't have one this week. We don't have the time to post it. So either Monday or Tuesday, we need to have another meeting before Wednesday when we have to on the budget. Because we want to make some significant changes in this. I haven't had a chance to figure how much difference that will make on our estimated amount for Christian care over there. But hopefully we can, we'll have to see who else we can maybe get to help us with the air conditioner situation, because we've got to get this on.
Now, was Parsons willing to do it?
Well, all they're gonna do though is the roof.
Well, from my understanding, they had a company that would do the air conditioning prior to them doing the roof.
Was that in our, we did get a bid from them, I think, didn't we?
But I didn't know about that, but if it's gonna be over 50,000, if we're gonna pay anything or over 50,000, we need to bid it out. I mean, it needs to be
Well,
done.
we talked about this is kind of an emergency. and we
Right,
don't
and our policy states that.
Well, and
if it's
honestly, we've had like 3 or 4
emergency,
people
it's
here,
gonna cost
and only one turned in a bid.
Nobody would bid on it, yeah, but didn't we talk about that, decide we did?
We did, if it was an emergency or if it was gonna cost the county money. I mean, it's been depopulated for a while.
Yeah.
So, but if it was gonna cost the county money, if it's costing the county money, us keeping the jail.
And it is, if we can get our people, because we're still paying, it's never expensive.
Right, right.
All right, well, let's, I thought we were still waiting on Jerry Dillon to come in and do that. I thought we were still waiting on Jerry Dillon to come and do that. So you're saying Parsons in their bid on the roof included?
Well, I don't know the bid went to you guys. I didn't get it.
We'll look at that before Monday. We'll look at that after we leave court today, but I mean, we'll talk about it again Monday.
But it was my understanding when I talked to him on the roof,
Oh.
that they had a company that would come in and fix the AC unit prior to them doing the roof. So I don't know if it was all in the bid or not.
If that's the situation, they need to come.
That's what I've been thinking.
Well,
Okay.
I didn't know anything about that. All I got was the bid for
for the roof itself.
Monday at 9? Is that what y'all are saying?
It's Monday or Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday, what works?
Either one.
Monday would be good, because it would give us a little bit more time then to make changes before Wednesday. Right now, we have in our proposed budget, effective rate, which is 0.377. And proposed rate is 0.409. Was it 409 or 409? 409. Now, in the proposed budget also is the 2% raise. We talked about, and you have a sheet that Tina prepared for us, with the cost of raising the higher end amounts. Raising by $300 a month would cost about $78,000. Raising $200 a month, now this is just in those three lower
Tiers. Yes,
lower
ma'am.
tiers,
Yes, ma'am.
would cost about $50,000. And that's for the year. Also, in the proposed budget, we have out of capital surplus, $1 million budget. Capital money. At this time, this is what's in the proposed budget, we can change that. We also have $400,000 out of surplus to make the budget that we have here balance. Now, if we raise however much we raise, above that effective rate, we'll decrease the amount we have to take out of surplus, plus we'll be able to address these additions that we're talking about.
So 2 cents of the nickel gets us to even up today, where we are today.
On the proposed. And then to raise the higher end amount on those three tiers, if it was $200 a month, it would be $50,000 a year. And if it was $300 a month, it would be $78,000 a year. And then we're gonna have to figure out about the transport situation and where we are on that. So until we get the transport issue cost, we don't have to decide actually if we're going to how much we're going to fund out of surplus. Right now, in the proposed budget, is all of the capital murder out of surplus, which is probably what we're going to have to leave. I don't see how we can not do it that way.
Was there a grant that we're working on through the state on
Yes,
the
that's
capital
correct.
murder?
That's correct.
And we may get some money out of that, but we won't get it out of that grant until probably the next year if we get some. So we're gonna have to fund it. If it goes this year, we'll have to fund it out of surplus. And then whatever we get, we can put that back into surplus. Not knowing how much we'll get, not knowing how much we're gonna spend, not knowing even if it's gonna go this next year.
I talked to the commissioner this week, if they had a capital murder case, and it was $650,000. And the grant deal came through, it didn't cost them a dime, but they had to wait on that money.
That's right, yeah.
And when they got it, he said, well, it was like,
And I don't think that they're thinking that it's gonna cost $1 million, but you have to have it budgeted and be there in case it does. Since it's gonna be a change of venue, it's gonna be a lot more costly.
aren't we waiting on a budget from them to kind of show us what the change of venue would cost? Some
We're
figures
not
from-
gonna have that in time. We have to go ahead and do our budget. So we're probably not gonna have that kind,
But I think what he's talking about is we're waiting on the district judge,
Judge.
coordinator. They're putting together a budget, but they gotta figure out where the venue's gonna be. And then we'll send that budget to and it's only gonna cover prosecution, so it's not gonna cover the indigent, the regional public defender, which is what we've been paying
pay
on.
an annual fee for that, to be a part of that.
Right, and it's not gonna pay for their expert witnesses and all that, it's just gonna cover the prosecution
Right.
side.
And I think it'll be, I think the decision that you have is gonna have to happen before that gets set in stone. I mean, I think the timeline on it you're looking at is, there's probably different options, but what Judge Grant's saying, I think holds true, that we're not gonna know some of those numbers until, once we get into this next budget year to figure it out. 'Cause I don't believe a decision is gonna be made before you have to make this decision on the budget. Could be wrong, it's not my decision
It
to
might be
make.
6 months before that decision.
It's not my decision to make, but I'm just saying that I don't expect it to be made for you to have time to figure out more
And-
specifics to the
Well,
budget.
and the dates of the grant, I mean, they come and go, so, we can't apply too soon because it has to be done within a year. So,
And by that being budgeted out of surplus, we're putting it just in a special line item, and it won't just be spent for other things. If it doesn't happen this next year, it won't be spent out of surplus. So it's not like our little contingency line item where we transfer money around and things. I don't know any other way to do it. We have to have the money available in case it goes. We budgeted this last year. We have had, about 100,000 that was spent, but we had budgeted, 500,000, but that's all that was spent, so that money still is in surplus and will not be spent this year.
Right now, with this budget, with our tax rate, you're taking 1.4 million out of reserves.
No, the 1 million is the capital, so that it's budgeted out of reserves. If we spend it, that will come out of reserves. The 400, I'm assuming we're gonna raise the tax rate to cover that, so it won't be taken out of surplus.
Oh, you made the motion to go up a nickel, you said you want that money to cover the trial.
No, we're half, people, we talked about half and half.
I don't think we're gonna be able to. I don't think there's gonna be enough money there.
All right?
Thought it was fine and fast.
That's what I originally wrote down, but then after we got to this, there's not gonna be enough, current funds for us to fund that half.
Half.
So, and considering all of that, we may want to, you'll have to be changing your, salary grade sheet, I'm assuming.
On what? That's on,
Determine how many, what we're gonna have to do about employees, and many, and get a price on the van, and whatever.
well, I think he probably already has that. What was you saying, about 80,000?
80,000.
On just a van that has got what it needs in it to secure prisoners?
And that's a section off, you can haul males and females at the same time, but they're sectioned, female would be on one side, males would be on the other side. They have to be divided and separate, and that would cut down you would just have to make one trip if there's mixed individuals that need to be brought to court.
That's a good feature to have. Save on the transport.
But also talking on the salary grades, I think we probably should determine as to whether we're going to separate the sheriff's office like it's been discussed, previously, before we actually decide.
Now, the two sheets that you have that are, Jenny did separate these for us, and it didn't, it's not changing anything other than separating the two on two separate sheets, basically. Isn't that right, Jenny?
No, ma'am, that was with the $300 on those
Yes,
first three
as
grades.
far as
Other than that,
separating.
yes, ma'am.
But now, this is just, the figures on there. And also, another thing I'd like to do is where it's higher end dash cap, let's make a separate column for cap.
Okay.
So that will be less confusing, then we'll firm that up also. But now, the salary grades, the positions themselves are the same, in the same spot that they were when it was a consolidated sheet. If you look at the colors, they're the same positions. But now, the salary grade sheets that she's given us here, the amounts are with the $300 a month
On those first three categories.
on the first three. Do you want her to print out one that is with the grades that we have, with the amounts that we currently have? I wrote it over to the side on mine.
And I have one here,
Now, that's a
Current.
consolidated one though, isn't it?
this one's the current, what we
Consolidated.
have.
Okay, how many do you have of those, Jeannie?
Just one left, I think some.
Do y'all have
Right,
one?
mine is
Is it
open.
consolidated? Yes, it's the longer one. Yes, that's it. That has both the sheriff's department and the courthouse personnel at the top, yes. Okay. And then if you want to write on the top of the ones that are separated, where the sheriff's office has one, the courthouse has one, you write down that it has that $300 in those figures already. Am I correct on that?
Yes, ma'am.
But now the sheet that's together, the sheriff's department and the courthouse, is on the current rates.
Correct.
So is there any reason for us not to separate those into the two? No. Are you agreeable to do that? Not talking about the amounts, just separating them into the two sheets. We're talking about the amounts later.
I mean, I just saw these, I don't know, I didn't time to study.
Well, if you look at this sheet that we
Well,
all.
but I don't understand what add-ins are. Is that some new positions, or is that?
So when the position came in for, Judge Grant's plus one, that was never put in this. The salary grade hasn't come back up on the agenda to be changed since that position was put in. And then there was some positions that, if y'all are gonna do the DPS secretary, or you're gonna do the, district court coordinator, those are not, on there, so that would have to be added in on one. And then there was the auditor's positions are governed by the district judges, so we were thinking to take those off because they're not governed by the pay scale, so that's what that means.
But right now, we just need to know whether or not we're going to separate the sheriff's office from the rest of this pay scale, correct?
Correct, just put them on two separate sheets. That's all we're talking about. It's the same as this one, except all of these are on one sheet and all of these are on a different sheet. But now, we'll talk about the account in a minute.
30 is the higher end.
That's only,
If you approve the 300,
that's only if we approve the 300 a month.
That's just for the higher ends.
Higher ends. Now, anybody that
is under it.
is, anybody that, is currently employed that is below that would be increased to that amount. And that's what that long sheet is that, Jeannie prepared for us. For example, if you were hired in the green section, see the green section, the sheriff's department doesn't have a green section, they're not in that category. You know, the light green, look at that, look at the other. Look at the light.
I have a sheet.
You don't have that sheet?
I don't.
Pass that over here. Pass that over. If you're in that, you were hired in at 21,600.
So,
Get the $300 a month raise, then you would get, that would be 25,200. So anybody, any of the clerks that are in that grade 1 section, which is on this sheet, would be making 25,200. We do have three clerks in the county clerk's office that are making 22,000, and they would move up to the 25,200. That's just an example. And this is just in the three lower. And if you only approve $200 a month increase on the higher end, that would decrease it by a third.
That's one clerk, two in addition clerk also in it.
I'm sorry.
I have two clerks in addition to clerk.
One of them is set below.
I was only talking about those as an example, all of the clerks
Okay,
that are.
exactly.
Yeah, all of the ones, I'm sorry, I was thinking those because they were out there and do. Yeah, but that's just an example. If they were hired in at 21.6, now they're up to 22. Oh, 32. If we raise the hiring amount to 25.2, it wouldn't be fair for them, for new hires to come in at 25.2 and the people that are already here have been here for a while, for them to make less than the new people that are coming in.
25.2 is still really cheap, though. That's me. 25.2 is still way below average. To keep people even at that's gonna be hard.
That would be
part-time's at $12 an hour.
They don't want the benefits for part-time, but
Right,
still.
that's still cheap.
So all the people that get that, going up that raise, that $200 or whatever, $200 raise or 300, whatever you want to say.
The higher end some of these people won't get much of a raise. We have one dispatcher that's making $28,015, and then they be raised to $30,000, so they didn't get less than $2,000 raise for the year. So it would be $300 a month for them. We just raised up to that higher amount.
Okay, Judge, on the second column, 300. $78,000 more. If we do the three. Okay, I'm looking at, I'm gonna pick out one right here, county services, 30,000. See where I'm at, not middle of the page?
Middle of the page, middle service.
Okay, we're still gonna be at 10 on top of that for insurance.
They're already getting insurance.
I understand that.
We are paying insurance for it.
I understand that.
Yes, sir.
So what's that, $300?
No,
It's more than that. It's almost 10,000.
10,000.
9,700.
What's 93? So it's actually 40,000.
In benefits, salary plus, if you add in, yes, if you add in the insurance, yeah.
You gotta add it.
Yeah.
There you go.
But everybody else adds it in too. All the other counties added in too, and we're still way below that.
Yeah, but I think what he means is, you know, if you work somewhere else, you may not get insurance.
Yeah, you are, because they'll get in trouble. If you work
You
full
can't-
time,
You have to pay for it. Some of it comes out of your salary.
Individual business, though, they don't necessarily get health insurance.
if they're full time, they do. They have to. It's illegal if they don't.
I don't.
No, no, you're wrong. You're wrong here.
Gary
It's a
doesn't
fringe
get that.
benefit.
No.
They're not.
What happened to Obamacare? Wasn't that what it was?
But
We don't, we
the
choose not to
employer is
pay the
not
premium.
out of our pocket. We have no benefits.
I'll take my money. Give me $10,000. You can have my insurance. I'd rather have my money.
A lot of people would.
You daggum right.
I wish we
So
could
why-
do that
so why can't we do that then?
Because it's a county, and we have to furnish the insurance. If you
Well-
have over 50 employees, you have to.
That shouldn't come at the,
At least it used to be 55.
that shouldn't come at the, that shouldn't affect me. That's a county deal. That's not my deal. I would choose not to even have insurance. Give me $10,000. I can make it work. I don't need the insurance. So I know I keep hearing the insurance thing be brought up, and the only reason I'm even speaking up about it, I know how I feel about it, but I also know how my people feel about it. Whoop-de-doo. I mean, seriously,
But it's still taxpayer money, Jeremy.
It is.
$10,000 per person.
It is, but you're figuring it in and what you want to consider our salary. No way. That's useless to me. That's completely useless to me.
I'm sorry you feel that way, but it's still taxpayer money. 10 grand per person if you're on insurance.
Okay. Then when they're paying $18 an hour in Limestone County and they're getting 10 grand per person also, we're still way below. That's what I'm
Their
saying.
tax rate's 70 cents.
There's what?
That's
Their
not our
tax
fault.
rate is 70 cents.
Uh-huh.
You should have been at that.
That's the problem with this county.
Yeah.
But we can't go up it so much without having a roll.
Right, because we didn't go up all these years, now we're suffering.
Yeah.
And that's not your fault, that's not my fault, I got brought into this. But at some point, we've got to fix it, but we can't use the, oh, we're paying them $10,000 in insurance as a crutch not to pay them what they're supposed to be worth. That's just my
I'm not using
opinion.
it as a crutch, I'm just telling you, it's money.
Well, we did to give the taxpayers a break when we had so
We
much
sure
money.
did.
And we did not continue to build our surplus at the expense of taxpayers when we didn't need that money then. But we're not in that position now. We have a good surplus, which we need to have that in case we have an emergency. But we're at the point now that we have to raise taxes. We lowered them when we had plenty of tax base and could get by with that. Well, we don't have that now, so we have to raise I feel like we have to raise our taxes to provide our services.
If you want to talk to this man that sits right here with the state power patrol, when you work for the state, sir, most of the time when you get a raise, doesn't your insurance go up and it takes your raise? Every year, doesn't it? So, insurance is you know, I mean, I know, I worked for the state for 30 years. You get a raise, your insurance going up, and you ain't getting nothing.
So really, I mean, we, as far as the interest side, we could go with $10,000 deductible, and our insurance rates would be low. If they always want to pay that insurance.
I was speaking on mine, me, not for this county. I was speaking on me in my office.
Well, and that's why we try to do this marketplace, so you can pick what best suits you and fits you. You could do like a savings account or some other things and.
Well, my point is we keep adding it in there, and I understand we gotta add it in there, but everybody else has it in there too, and they're still making more than we are.
Well, to the majority of people, it is a benefit paid for by the county.
Right.
So.
I still don't think you're understanding what I'm trying to
I
say.
am, but I don't agree with you.
Understand what you're
They're
saying.
still making more than we are. Salary-wise, they're still making more than us.
That's not the point he was making. We are spending, I mean, that is a part of our cost, yes. It is a part of our cost. But when we look at how much they're making per hour, I'm not adding that 10,000 in. What they're actually getting,
I understand that.
money-wise, is about $12 an hour. Off of the 25 2 for the reasons that it still would just be about $12 an hour.
You know, a few years ago, our insurance, and not very long ago, had a $250 deductible. You go check it around out here. People working every day, all field, whatever, in a real good job. Their deductibles, $700, $800, $7,500, $15,000. Mine was $15,000 deductible. And we had a $250 deductible here in this county. Nobody appreciated it.
And it was good then.
Oh, yeah, it was good.
It
Yeah.
was good.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
250.
We just had open enrollment, and one of the things that TAC, the insurance said during open enrollment, that the average is $4,000 for the
Yeah.
general public on the deductible.
But when I was for 250, I went to check around what people were also working for, and they, it's way on up there. But my deal is, if I don't want to work here, I don't like it, I need to get out. I need to be gone. I don't like what I'm making. That's my deal.
And that's why we don't have a jail.
Exactly.
We ain't got a jail, but we ain't checking on insurance. Our jail deal's a big deal.
Our
I'd like to see
jail,
our
we
jail
don't have a
guys.
jail because we don't have employees because we ain't paying them.
And I may have been remiss about that. I didn't realize that we could get Parsons to do those. We'll look at that when we leave here, and if they can make those, bill those for us, and we'll get them to bill them so we can get that moving. I thought we were waiting on somebody else to come bill them, I'm sorry. All right, would Monday be a good day or Tuesday?
I work every day, Judge. It doesn't bother me. You name it and I'll be here.
Happy days. Monday or Tuesday, you got here?
It will be at 9.
At night. Monday will be good. All right, we're gonna have a meeting on Monday. We're thinking about this, but we have to decide something. Whether we're gonna do, whether we're gonna raise, we are separating the two pay rates, the salary grades, just the salary grades themselves, we're separating those. We'll be talking about the hiring amount again Monday, so we must make a decision about if we're gonna raise it, or we're gonna raise it 200 a month or 300.
And we will contact some other counties, see what the going rate is there, what they could do for us in order.
Okay, good. And we'll have.
That's what we'll do today.
Figure out our transport situation.
I just,
This figure was 2% raise in this budget.
2%
And
raises.
I made that.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
I thought we was gonna add 300.
we hadn't had 300 yet. We got to roll with that.
Well, we started off with 200, now 300.
Well, but the 200 raise, I mean, the 2% raise affects the difference here. They already would be raised to that, so it's not as much difference. But the 2% affects all employees. And this is,
Except 11.
except 11, that's right. But that is just raising the higher
just, I talked to Devin, and I got some information about some cars, we've been talking about some cars. And we got, if I understand this right, from my information, we got 4 cars in 2018. We got 4 Chevy Tahoes. And they were bought for, I think it says $49,633.08. And their purchase date was 1/3 of 2018. We got 4 brand news.
Yes.
Those 4 brand new cars, and David got me this information yesterday, the mileage on them is 49,069 on one of them, 54,304, 49,356, and 48,441. So they have been in service about a year and 6 or 7 months, and I don't know how many miles that is, but that will go a long way with that lease purchase thing, which I'm not in favor of. I'm not saying we don't need it. I'm not saying we don't need it. Right.
I'm not saying that's not, I think we need to replace.
And who drives those? These cars are patrol cars, correct?
Correct, they're not, we don't utilize them for the transports, we try to keep the new cars.
Well, some of them we have to at points because we get arrested, but we try to utilize our older vehicles to do those transports to Limestone. That way we're not putting mileage on our new ones.
Because I know that when we bought these, we specifically asked to make sure they were going to be.
Well, he can tell you exactly.
Before the jail shut down.
So hopefully that's what we're.
Yeah, they are.
We got, what do we got? Willis, Gasway Steel, and
31.
Wyman.
They're all patrol.
All patrol.
10:26, we are opening a public hearing on the proposed tax rate. Anyone like to discuss the proposed tax rate? This is just something that have to do with a public hearing or whatever.
The proposed tax rate is still 409.
Yes. Yes, sir, that is the rollback rate.
Well, excuse me, I hope it's okay to say this, but
It is.
I agree with your comment that, you know, and I pay a lot of taxes. I only have one house, okay? That's all property I own is a house, property on the house. And I pay a substantial amount of property taxes already, okay? But I think we must raise it, as you said, up to at least that 40.406. You know? We need to. We got to keep and protect our county. We have to support the services that the citizens need. And, you know, I just think it's something that's necessary. So I would, as a citizen and a taxpayer, I would support that.
And I'm glad to hear that I'm not the only one. All taxpayers do.
Yeah.
So we have to raise everybody's taxes, but I think we need it. We have to provide something.
You want a motion? Do you do a motion?
No, we don't need a motion. Are you talking about the proposed tax rate? No, we're just talking about, we just have to have a public hearing. If you don't give a motion,
We adopt the tax rate. Does all of us have to be here, or just a majority, or what? 4 people have to be? And that'll be done on the.
Next Wednesday. All right, is there any other comment on the tax rate? If not, what time is it? 10:28, we are closing the public hearing on the proposed tax rate. Are there any comments from Commissioner Court members?
We're gonna close County Road 540. On August 26th, built a bridge. I gave a copy to Jeremy. I gave a copy to the post office, radio station, the bus barn. Yeah, pretty well lining it up, I guess.
You can put that out over the emergency notification system.
Don't have it.
On the stand.
But, probably 3 weeks to a month. Building a bridge.
They can draw that area that would be affected and send a notice out over the telephone system.
Okay.
Any other comments from Commissioner Court
just gonna say too, we did our tire recycling event, that was a very good turnout. We filled up 2 trailers, so thanks Commissioners Court for hosting that, so county employees could bring those. And then also the open enrollment for the employees went very smooth, so